Hello and welcome to Deep Down. I'm your host, Jordan Hunt, and today I'm joined by my lifelong friend and collaborator, the incredible movement artist, Masumi Saito. We're here on her home turf, close to Honor Oak Park, One Tree Hill in London, and I can't wait to share this conversation with you. Hello, Masumi Saito.
Hello, Jordan Hunt.
How are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Very good, actually.
Good. You've been very busy recently.
Yeah, busy.
That's a very Masumi answer. Yeah.
Yeah, busy, yeah.
Just getting on with it.
Getting on with it, yeah. A lot of things. Life. It's good though. It's good,
Yeah.
busy, yeah.
Work busy.
Work busy, yeah. Project, family, lots of stuff. But it's good busy. As long as it's exciting, it's not energy draining, then I'm happy.
Oh, good.
You know?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, absolutely. It seems like you're making good choices.
Exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. No, that's definitely this year. Like, not using unnecessary energy on things that I'm not getting anything, right? But
Yeah.
It's not about money. It's about
It's that time and energy.
Yes. I'm glad I'm making good choices. I'm grateful for the things that come in, exciting, interesting things that come in. So that's nice.
Yeah. It's very inspiring to see that. It's
Yeah.
very pragmatic.
Yeah.
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 That you know yourself better these days. Obviously, we've known each other a long time, and I've seen that progression of you realizing, yeah, this is what I want to spend my time doing.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, it's been a journey, no? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
So where are we? Just to paint a picture for anyone who's listening rather than viewing.
Yeah, so we're in One Tree Hill, which is in southeast London at Honor Oak Park. This is the hill that I used to come all the time to practice my movement, especially during lockdown and after. And I used to live just like 10 minutes walk from here. I now moved to Forest Hill, but this is still,
Close enough.
close enough. There's a whole other place in my heart, I think.
Yeah.
This tree.
This is your special tree.
Yeah, it's my tree.
I feel like I recognize it.
I used to move a lot here and then film it and share it and
Yeah. Why do you tell us about that? Because there was a period when you were doing a movement diary series.
Yes, so Moving Diary is a project where I got out with my husband Guy, who's a filmmaker, and we just spontaneously pick location, set the camera, and film me move, responding to the environment. And rule was we don't reshoot, we don't plan, we don't choreograph, and what we get is what we get. And we did that between 2016 up to 2019.
Is it that long ago?
Yeah. We were doing that when we lived in Japan. We wanted something that for our practice and something that we force ourselves to do every week. And we did that every week for over a year. And when we moved back to London, the rhythm, the lifestyle changed. But we were doing occasionally, and this is one of the locations we came to film that. And
That approach,
yeah.
the framing with the rules and the duration of the film is very you.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Very me, okay.
It's very inspiring.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of what I hope my work could be like in that approach.
Okay.
But I think mine is a bit more messy around the edges.
Okay.
But I kind of I'm attracted to the neatness of it. It reads to me all of your kind of logical approach and your pragmatic approach to, I guess maybe it's because you're a mother. You've got a set time, but you want to keep the practice going. It doesn't feel that deep in terms of we're just going to do this.
Right.
Just doing it every week.
Yeah.
But then you've got that minute.
Yeah, 60 minutes movement, improvised movement.
Yeah.
And then Guy shot 6 detail shot nearby.
Yes.
Then we put that, so that was about
60 seconds.
Yes,
and then some B-roll.
Yeah.
But then what is captured is like totally profound.
Okay.
It's like you've given yourself a little frame or a window to then just not worry about any of the logistical stuff because all that is pre-decided and you can just totally be present.
Yeah. It was really a mindful practice, and I'm glad we stuck to that rules, and that rules allowed us to be more creative and free within that frame.
Exactly.
Because when you see I'm just doing improvise, it's just not interesting, no? It's just not, I don't know, because...
Well, maybe for you.
For me, it's not interesting. For me, it's not interesting enough because, I need a structure, and that structure and rules, whether that's a frame things or it's the length things, you then need to compose yourself. In that moment, you need to make a judgment.
Yeah.
Like where to stand, where to go, what movement, there's a stillness. And that's just a practice, isn't it? Where if I had, okay, you can do improvise 8 hours. I don't know what I'm practicing. That is a practice as well, but I think at that point in my life, that's why I needed that structure and that kind of strict rules. Then that allowed me to be more creative. Yeah.
So how long have we known each other?
Gosh.
Because we met December or November 2007?
7, yes.
In order to rehearse for...
Wow collection,
Yeah.
late Tate.
Tate Britain.
Tate
show
Britain, yes.
With the inaugural Theo Adams Company performance.
Yes.
So how did Theo find you?
I was at the student at London Contemporary Dance School.
Yeah.
And then there was a notice board. And there was a tiny piece of paper. It said, looking for dancers, auditions this day. So I emailed.
That was it?
That was it. But, but that was with Chika.
Oh yeah, Tatsumi.
Yeah, Chika Tatsumi, who was performing with Theo all the time.
Oh wait,
at
was
that
it
time.
in Japanese you mean?
No, it was English,
okay.
But I didn't know she was Japanese because Chika spelled her name Chycca, which is really unusual for Japanese. I saw that and I went through a lot of things during the training at the place, which maybe we can talk about it later, but saw that, and it was a calling, because it wasn't like dance project. It was so vague. It was just performance at Tate Britain.
Right.
What is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I emailed and they told me to go to the audition at this shop, vintage shop. And there's the tiny basement we went in, there's like a vintage stuff. And then Chika was there. And it wasn't an audition, we just chatted. And then she shared her idea and that was it. But then I think because then Theo found out that Chika got a dancer, Theo was like, oh, I want to use a dancer too. I think it was that way around. And then we had a rehearsal at Elephant Castle.
Right.
It was a club.
Right. Oh, so you were booked by Chika for
Yeah. So I was in the Chika's piece.
Well, I was as well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah,
that
right.
was reversed. So we met at the Coronet Theatre in Elephant and Castle.
Yeah?
I don't know if it
Really?
still
Okay.
exists. Yeah, I remember the room. It was
Sticky floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun.
That was fun.
And then the show was so bonkers.
It was bonkers.
For me, it was not like anything I'd ever done before. How was it for you? Because you'd already done like years of dance.
No, but that's the thing. It was just nothing I was exposed to at the school.
Okay.
And it was so refreshing, you know? And it was so nerve-wracking because I remember Chika wore this like corset kind of things. And she kept telling us like, rip it off.
To reveal what?
Exactly. But like in my conservative training on conservative, like Japanese conservative mind, thinking like, we're in a Tate Britain. Like, I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe I'm mishearing this. I shouldn't be doing this. But she kept shouting at like, cut it off or something
during
like
the
that.
show.
Yeah. We all had scissors and I think we were meant to cut that, but she never told us to.
Oh, sure.
Like that kind of like, it was quite all spontaneous, wasn't it? There was a structured, but...
Yeah, like
you
the
know?
piece lasted so long.
Yeah.
The soundtrack, I guess.
Yeah. You were
That's
playing
good.
violin.
Yeah.
It was a tight.
Yes,
we all
I
just wore a flesh
had
coloured
some,
tie?
yeah, that was the flesh-coloured tights.
Yes.
And then for Theo's, I put on the black sequined underpants.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is obviously a costume change.
Yes, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how
All
we
I
met.
remember is my takeaway was we're just making a big mess.
Yeah.
But in the most fun possible
way. Yeah. And more people kept coming, and there were just more element.
Yeah.
Because when we were rehearsing, it was just us, like dancers and Theo and Chica, and there was Gwen.
Oh my gosh,
came in.
Gwen Christie.
Yeah. Matthew Stone was with the Stone. He was a Stone?
He was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Gosh, those were the days. I feel that was probably just before social media was really kicking off.
Yeah.
Or did it even exist in 2007?
Oh, MySpace.
Yeah, that's
MySpace,
how I met Theo.
Okay, that's how,
MySpace.
yeah. That's how I was, I think, aware of Theo, because...
Yeah. And however cosmopolitan we are now, like, we probably just didn't know anything. Because we, like you said, we hadn't been exposed.
Right, no.
And we hadn't seen it online.
No.
So if you hadn't lived it or seen it in person or seen it in a book, then you just didn't know about it.
No, I didn't know that wasn't even an option,
No, exactly.
to do that.
Yeah. And yet it felt so natural. It felt like, because I made a soundtrack for Theo.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even make the soundtrack, I just
It was a collaging,
collaged a soundtrack that someone else had already made, I think Todd Hart, because there was a problem with it. And Theo said, basically, we've got this soundtrack and we're not allowed to put this section in for political reasons, so can you fix it?
Yeah.
And also, whilst you're at it, make it fab.
Right. Okay.
As a composer who'd come from contemporary classical music school, college, university, for like probably 6 years by that point, it's the first time I'd ever been asked to do that. It was so good and so fun. I just put all of my favourite contemporary classical composers on this bonkers soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like Ligeti Requiem and like Puccini.
Right.
And then, how did it end with Barbra Streisand, Don't Rain on My Parade?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It was a great mashup, but it just made so much sense. Energetically, it just like, all of this, whether it's high art or low art, those horrible terms, it was all coming from the same place of love and energy.
Yeah, and in a way we're still doing the same thing. You know?
What now?
Today? I mean, the impulse to make that work, like good work has it developed and changed, but like the reason why that was calling that time is still the same reason why we still perform or we make work, right?
Because actually, if that was like 18 years ago, I don't know if I know many people from back then who are still doing what they were doing back then.
Right.
Unless they've sort of made it with an agency or a label or whatever their situation is. Obviously, Gwen is like world famous now. And Sonoya.
Sonoya was in it as well.
Yeah. Sonoya Mizuno. Yeah. And Theo Adams as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're just ticking along, still having fun, I think.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's the only reason why I do what I do, no?
Yeah.
Like, because it's fun.
I almost feel like that was my real education. Like, I did my 6 years at uni and then went to Theo Adams College.
Yeah. No, I think I'm still at Theo Adams College. I'm doing a PhD on that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the time, I mean, that was effectively performance art. That's what it had to be called, I think.
Right, sure, yeah.
Tate Britain.
Right, yeah.
And then I remember we separately collaborated together. Obviously, I think a chat about our work with the Adams Company is a whole other 5-hour-long podcast.
Right, yeah.
But we have then also separately worked together many times. I was trying to list them all and I kept, an hour later thinking, oh no, there's that huge thing that I totally forgot we did. One of the first iconic things we did was Bin Bag Bish Bash Bomb.
Yes.
Which was a performance art piece, I guess. Yeah.
I can't even remember where it was.
And the name of the gallery escapes me, but it's in White City. And at the time, they had, I think, a Dan Flavin light show in the gallery. And we had a performance square, and we had lots of bin bags filled with recycling, effectively. And then how long was the soundtrack? Was it an hour or 30 minutes or something?
I don't know. Maybe it was long. It was quite a duration of the things. Yeah, we just ended up rolling around on the floor or something like that. Yeah.
And I was so committed to it.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, this is exactly what the people need to see.
Yeah.
I was so convinced
Yeah, no.
that was so important.
Yeah, it was important.
It wasn't only fun.
Yeah,
I mean, it
yeah.
was fun, but it wasn't fun first. It was important first.
Right, yeah.
It just happened to be fun.
Yeah.
So did you have a soundtrack by Johnny?
Yeah.
Johnny Fox?
Yes.
Eggs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was good. That was really fun.
Yeah.
That was the first piece we did, just two of us.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 2008.
Yeah, because we did Rock Cabaret.
Oh yeah, Rock
with
Cabaret.
Anna.
Yeah, Liza Minnelli.
Yeah.
Anna Levenhaupt.
Yeah.
Who's also in the Adams Company and I've known for a long time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we did some performance numbers for Eat Your Heart Out.
Yes. We did a few of them.
Previous incarnations of that nightclub that Scotty ran. Yeah. I feel like that's when I finally got into my own lane, thinking if I'm going to do this performance art stuff, then this is what it's going to be like.
Right.
And I started to make my own collage soundtracks that might synchronise with violin.
Yeah.
And we probably just recycled the same costumes over and over again because who had any money?
Yeah.
Just like nude one piece.
Nude, yeah, exactly.
Or like a bed sheet.
No one was paying us to do all of that. That was the amazing part.
Yeah,
like, we just
it.
really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And that was a commitment. Each Hata was like, was it monthly things?
Yeah. I mean, I think you probably did it more committedly than I did.
Like producing.
And it's interesting to have watched your progression from starting out at London Contemporary Dance School. It's funny because the episode with Monique we filmed at the place, then becoming a performance artist, like very seriously, that's my new title.
Right, yeah.
And then with the Adams Company, I remember we did that application to Watermill Centre, and then suddenly we had to try and find more official titles for the application.
Right, yeah.
Which sort of stuck a bit, and you were like choreographer.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, I don't know what you think. It seems like that never quite settled with you, that title.
No.
Can you tell me about that?
I don't, not because of, not just that time, right? Like it's just in general.
Over the past 20 years.
Yeah, I do choreography job, and people come for that, come asking me for that, and yes, I take that job. However, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I know what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm doing as a choreographer. Like the title.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel right. It's never sit me right. Or even like a title as a dancer, that doesn't sit me right.
Oh really, dancer?
Yeah, dancer doesn't sit me right. I always
Maybe
say.
not anymore.
Oh, maybe back then, like when it was more, I was fine with dancer more than choreographer, I guess.
Would you say performer?
Yeah, performer, but now I movement artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
That sounds right.
It feels right, especially because the word artist is in there.
Right.
Because that has actually underpinned your whole career so far.
Yeah.
You were always a movement artist.
Movement artist, yeah.
We can retroactively correct all of those previous labels.
Rewrite
You've always
it.
been a movement artist.
But yeah, choreographer is, I think when it's, especially in a context of the Adams Company, we are such a collective. In a way, you're also choreographer. Like we're just realizing the Theo's visions into movement. I'm just a translator, really.
Yeah.
But the movement really comes from Theo. Do you know what I mean? Because he's so specific. So that's why I always felt, am I a choreographer though? I'm just interpreting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
like
that's
a translator.
Yeah, but I guess that's what the choreographer is. But
we have worked with other people who would call themselves a choreographer, and they approach things totally differently. They come with like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Exactly. Which is not how I make work.
It's just not so interesting for you to start there.
No, and that's never been my practice.
What would you say your practice is then? If that's not your practice.
That is not my practice then. I guess then it's going back to like movement diary or being outside and responding the environment and surrounding. And yes, I do practice movement, responding to the environment, the sound I hear, or the emotion that I'm going through, or whatever the event I'm going through, and then to trying to digest that through movement is my practice. I use movement to calm my nerve. You know, like whatever that is that I'm going through, I'm trying to capture that with movement. So it's never 5, 6, 7, 8. So therefore, I don't practice movement with music so much because music is another element to respond to. What I'm responding is what I'm going through. Does that answer your question?
Totally.
I don't know. Is that my problem?
I think that's why I would say the word artist has to be in your title.
Right, okay.
It's almost like you could just call yourself artist. It just
Okay.
happens that you
Right,
move.
yeah,
That's
sure,
how you
yeah.
express yourself.
Yeah.
But what you're doing, it seems, is filtering your life experience through the medium that you've learned to express yourself. That doesn't involve counts of 8
Right.
necessarily.
No, right, yeah.
Because that's not necessarily nature. So besides nature, what are some of the other influences on your work? Is it external or internal or both? Or part of your heritage? Or because, for example, I guess the reason I'm asking is I saw a period where you were interested in Buto.
Yeah.
Although you would never call yourself a Buto practitioner because you know what it should be.
Yeah.
And that's not why you're interested in it necessarily. The way you move is so unique and particular to you. I've never seen anyone move in quite the way that you do, which is why, although you might not want to improvise for 8 hours, I could totally watch you improvise for 8 hours because it's always so exquisite.
That's nice, thank you.
But do you consciously carry your heritage with you, or any specific things you learned at
Interesting.
dance school? Or
That's interesting. I think only recent year that I managed to put my Japanese heritage, or that identity, to my movement practice. I moved to the UK when I was 18, right? And I've become who I am here. I've matured, like I've become Masumi Saito almost here. So therefore, when I go home, I feel almost alienated there. And then there had been a period whenever I go home, anxiety really grew up because the societies that what I wanted to run away from, and the social pressures and the expectation of how women should be, or the mom should act, or how women of certain age should dress, right? And also, like when I moved here, I really wanted to adapt, and I wanted to speak English, I wanted to fit in, and I didn't want to be Japanese. And I never thought that's the exciting part of my identity. I never really thought that, I just wanted to fit in. I think that's why I was going out and going to the party, or trying to find these unusual places to be. But the past few years, I really managed to connect this. Me grew up in a rural part of Japan in a mountain, and my exposure was so little, like culturally, and putting that and this me that moved here when I was 18 and found this tool, the language of the movement, and those two together, and to actually appreciate my heritage and where I'm from. And it's actually quite recent things for me. I think that's why I've changed a lot past few years, to merge that two together. And
since living in Japan, do you think?
no, I think
Even more recent?
Yeah, really recent. Yeah, I would say past 3 years. I think the biggest moments for me is losing my mum. I lost my mum not last year, year before, November, because she suffered from pancreas cancer. That we had 2 years of witnessing that and going through the journey with her, and through the journey, and then towards the end of her life, that especially after she passed away, there were so many cultural elements, ritual, the funeral practices and all of that. I just felt so, wow, I'm so Japanese, and I'm so glad I have this culture and I have this. Like, we never see ourselves religious. Just Japanese in general, I think all of that culture is so ingrained. We practice Buddhism, we practice Shintoism, but we don't see it as a faith. It's just a part of custom. But to have that so ingrained in culture, not just a funeral practice, other things, right? Like appreciation for the natures and believing everything carries spirit, and it's just so beautiful. And especially like so many Japanese cultures are highlighted and be appreciated in such a broad field. I'm just so proud to be Japanese. And also I'm so proud to be able to understand that, let's say, Sakamoto which is music, or this anime that based around spirit. You know, like I can understand that. Like, of course, yeah, like Western people, like people from outside can appreciate that, but I can really appreciate that because I live with that, you know? And yeah, I think, yeah, I'm really managed to put that two together. And I feel good, I think, yeah.
That's so beautiful. Thanks for sharing about your mum as well. Because I know that recently you've been making work about, well, I mean, I think about that process.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that right?
yeah. I've been working with Antin, who's a composer, and we've researched around funeral practices from, especially from East Asia. Antin's Taiwanese, so from her experience and what she's seen and my Japanese heritage. And so we've been researching nearly 2 years now. We did residency at Snape Residency. We've been funded as well from Arts Council so we can further develop it and tour it. That's been a really powerful research, just to be openly talk about that. And that's the first step. And for me, the first 6 months of working on that project, and especially right after my mum passed away, was I just needed that as my grief process. And I did a performance in June, which was, 5 months after my mum passed away. So the performance I did then was just pure let that go, everything I carried, and that was just releasing my grief. But then work has progressed a lot since. It's not just about my grief, it's not just about me and my mom, but it's just generally offering a space for the community and for people to sit together with death and just to talk about that. And whether you've personally had an experience with that or not, we all gonna go through it. So let's just normalize the conversation, you know?
It's not very common in the UK
No.
to have that space.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I know I'm going to see one of your chats. I mean, I've not seen the performance live, so I don't know what to expect yet at Chisenhale, which might have happened by the time this episode is out, but hopefully you'll do it again. So what might I expect in that case?
So Chisenhale kindly offered a space for us to explore the idea based on a death cafe. So death cafe is a community where people gather and just talk about death. It's such a beautiful community. I've attended a few different sessions and just people just have a conversation around death. So we kind of taking that inspiration from that. So at the Chisenhale, we literally just gather and
open the floor.
Well, we prompt some things, and also I want to start up with some simple movement practice or breathing exercises, something like that.
Oh, nice.
So we can, I think what I took that from Japanese funeral practice, and also this research is that here especially we don't have a space to sit together, act of doing almost nothing, but be together and to be still and to think about that is what we don't have. Like, move on, let's go to pub, you know? And we don't even see the body, we don't process it. So hopefully we open the space for people to just openly share about it. It's not a grief counseling group, you know? So
it's not group therapy.
No, it's not group therapy. It's just, let's chat about it, you know?
It'll be fascinating. I'm taking a friend who sadly lost her mum recently as well. And at the same time, I was almost thinking, well, I'm going to support her and to support you, and I'm still interested. And I almost feel like, oh, my ticket into this place, not you need a ticket literally, is that I'm attached to someone who has lost someone recently, and then would it be appropriate for me to attend currently when, touch wood, everyone's still here? But then it took me back to years and years ago, maybe 2014, when I was asking you, researching about Japanese funeral processes, to make the music video for my song The Sea, which maybe it was longer ago than that, but that was because that song is about my late aunt Aggie, and that was the first time I'd heard about the Japanese cultural practice around funerals, where the whole family is there, present with the body and the kind of the washing and the dressing and so on, which was the inspiration behind the painting of me in the video. A bit of a step removed, but that's obviously been with me the whole time, and I forget how comfortable I am talking about death.
Yeah.
Strangely, I've got a few friends who are going through loss recently, and I keep sort of gently pressing them to have a cup of tea, to keep chatting. And then when I've met up with them, they've sort of said, yeah, it's very brave of you to like want to talk so directly about it, because everyone else is just avoiding me or avoiding the subject, saying, oh, just cheer up. They're trying to find ways to distract them from the loss. And which to me seems bonkers, because the only way through it is through it and acknowledging it.
Do you think that's because you've also personally experienced?
Yeah, because I am on the other side of it, and luckily it's a long time ago.
Was someone there for you to give you a space to talk about that when you are going through it?
No, I'm very, very lucky, blessed with many wonderful friends, and the NHS gave me some bereavement counselling. But I felt most lucky that I had an artistic outlet to express in the way that you're talking about, you know, your first performance in June after you'd lost your mum. That was a real, actual, in real time grieving process. Yeah, I'm able to put the feelings into my lyrics. To the point where when I first started singing and making songs as opposed to contemporary music, like classical music, I almost labelled myself as kind of like sad boy pop, because all of my songs seemed to be about death or loss or, you know, sadness in relationships. And that's definitely not the case anymore. I mean, I don't shy away from feelings, but for me there's always a sense of hope. Even if there's a sad passage in a song, I'm no longer sad boy.
No longer sad boy, that's good.
I just like all of the emotions.
Yeah. No, we are lucky though to have that outlet.
And I remember one of the performances we did, maybe on the more serious end of the spectrum, was it at Shunt? Pray for Japan.
Yeah, I was thinking about that,
That was after the
11.
tsunami in Japan.
Yeah.
And that was really beautiful. That was like an hour-long performance or something.
Yeah, we did an hour-long Pray for Japan. You play a violin and just improvised.
Made a collage with the Arvo Pärt track, Cantus in Memoriam Benjamin Britten. And that was really eye-opening for me to see you moving in that way for the first time on a more serious topic. Because although we did all that performance art, and it felt very like real and deep and necessary, it was always, for me, coming from me.
Right, yeah, it's very self-centered. Yeah.
And that was probably the first time I did something completely committedly, but about something else. As always, you moved exquisitely. And it felt like, I don't know if you were moving like that before that point, but it seems like I really remember that specific performance as being a seed of lots of your work.
Okay,
although more recently, when I've seen your movement diaries and stuff, there's a lot more fun and joy and childlike quality.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
To it. Do you think that's inspired by being a mum?
I think so.
You're such an amazing mum.
Thank you. Good enough.
Do it so naturally.
No, good enough is good. I'm a good enough mum.
Yeah, good enough.
Good
totally.
enough is good. Yeah, maybe, yeah. And also, not all need to be serious.
No, exactly.
Right? Like, I have fun with it, and I don't know why I'm doing what I do sometimes, but it's fun and it gives me a joy, then that's good enough, right? And maybe other people can then watch it and analyze it and make things up for me, you know, write things up. But yeah, most of the time, I don't know, I sometimes think that like when we're in a studio together for sales things or like any other things and we're brainstorming, oftentimes like, this looks ridiculous, let's try it, you know?
Yeah. Because it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, and then because it's ridiculous, and that's good. If we then dig into the deeper, that becomes something else. So if we play on that, be playful and don't take your life seriously or don't take yourself seriously, then that's becomes something else, because that's...
But do it very sincerely.
Do it sincerely, yeah. I'm not taking piss. Like, I'm not taking piss out of myself or my art or anything, the space or whatever. I'm very serious, but
seriously playful.
Yeah, exactly. And that's important quality in life, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a room, when we worked with Theo, you were very logical. You're one of the most logical voices in the room.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's all about just facilitating this deep, ridiculous kind of approach.
Yeah.
Sincere fun.
Yeah. Like if we can't have fun in that room, why do it, you know? Yeah.
That's the recurring theme working with Theo. It's like, if it's not fun, then just don't bother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But it also comes back to that same observation about you of having the frame, being very pragmatic logistically, and then just being profoundly yourself within that frame. Yeah, it's a very nice energy to have in the room.
That's
very
nice
balancing.
to hear. That's nice to hear. Because sometimes I do feel like, oh, am I too... Because I am quiet and Theo is loud. Or like a,
oh, sure, yeah.
you know,
I wasn't even thinking about how you being quiet, because I don't feel like you're not heard.
Okay.
There's plenty of space for your voice.
Yeah.
It's just that you choose to chime in when there's a little breath.
Yeah. That's definitely
Because you're not fighting
important.
to have your voice heard.
No.
That's what's so refreshing.
Yeah.
It's a thread of humility where you're like, well, if no one wants to listen to me, I don't mind. It's not about you.
Right.
It's not about me.
Yeah. Or often like, not just about Theo, but like other projects that I've worked on, and when they work collaboratively, so many voices, right? And it's much more powerful that you just sit and wait for how it's to evolve, and then say something rather than like, you know?
Because that way you watch everyone else do the hard work of figuring it out.
No, exactly. No, exactly. But also, it's just like that comes with maturity as well, isn't it? Though, like if you I don't know.
I mean, it tracks. When I asked you initially, would you do this conversation with me? Your first reaction was like, well, I don't have anything to say. Why would you possibly want me? And I was like, but you're the most fascinating person.
Oh, that's good to hear. No, I do think that, like, why would anyone want to hear me talking? I mean, like, and also, like, fundamentally, that's why I move.
Yeah.
Because I don't like talking.
Oh.
You know, I don't. That's definitely why I move, and I don't use text in my work at all because.
Yeah, I've never really noticed that.
Yeah, because I ramble and. I'm not shy, or I'm not, like.
Me too.
I'm not shy. I'm not quiet in that sense. I like chatting. I like socializing, but when it's come to my work, I never speak in my work. I only move because I think I use, like speaking uses the brain space to, figure out what needs to be said or what tone needs to be delivered, what language that moment needs to be. Do you know what I mean? There's so much nuance in that where movement is just, I think, as most honest and vulnerable tool that I have,
Well, thank you for sharing it with us. I mean, there's another thing that I want to share at the same time as this episode, which is one of the dance films that we made for To the Ocean Floor, that record from an embarrassingly long time ago that's still not been released.
That's good, good.
I got you to dance, or improvise really, to my track Deeper Than Usual. And of all of the, I think, 10 piano tracks on that record, I reserved that one specially for you, because it was just so, I mean, literally the title, Deeper Than Usual, it just is a bit more kind of introspective in its approach than all of the other ones, which are a bit more kind of projection of piano, loud, 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 rhythm, rhythm, here you go, here's a piece.
Yeah.
And that one was almost like an anti-piece. I thought you would just get that. I don't know if you've even seen the finished video before we share it, but it's very beautiful.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
When was that? That was...
I mean, we released it in the album during lockdown, July 2020.
Yeah.
Too long.
That's other things though about making work. You don't have to just shoot it and release it. Like it's, if you're doing it for yourself, then the timings need to be right. And when you leave it long enough, and then it might change the meaning but that's also nice too, you know?
What I've learned is it's always really nice to find a reason
Yeah.
and a time to do something. Like we could have released it in the past if I'd made it happen. But the fact that I can release it alongside having this conversation with you is nice. Although actually, now I think about it, it's not the only thing that you've inspired recently, because during lockdown you did that wonderful postcards project. Can you tell us what was the thinking behind it?
What was the thinking behind why I did postcard?
Yeah.
So postcard is what I did, I think it was it second lockdown. So I sent my dear friend. The video is a minute video, but I moved 30 seconds. That was like a postcard to that person because we couldn't see anyone or couldn't be in the same space. And then in response, I asked that person to then, it was a movement, but you played
Film themselves doing their thing.
Yeah, exactly. 30 seconds in response, and then put that together in one screen. Yeah. Yeah.
So you would film a minute.
Yeah. Film a minute. Yeah.
You move for 30 seconds and then are static to give space for the other person. Yeah. And the other person films themselves watching you and then does their thing in response. Yes. Yeah.
So it's in a split screen.
Beautiful, clever idea.
I loved doing that. That really saved me, because I think during lockdown what I missed the most is to be in a studio and like sharing ridiculous idea and have fun with my friend who's all amazing, creators and artists, and that I really, really craved. And I was really trying to think the way that still to connect that way. And I really enjoyed doing that project. And to dedicate the 30 seconds, and again, it's the having the rules and limitation rather than it's the blah, 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 blah things. It's the frame that this frame makes sense to send it to this person. This movement makes sense.
Doable length. Yeah. You're not asking the world.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Film on your phone.
Yeah. Again, it was a simple set of rules.
Short enough to share on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's perfect. And the responses were also different. Did you tailor your postcards to the friends? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, it's like as if you write a postcard to the person, right? Like you go somewhere and you pick the card thinking about the person, or so. Yeah, it was really like that. I composed it different to depending on the person, or I picked the location thinking about that person or the movement.
Did you work with Guy on that?
Yeah, Guy helped me, but it was really came from what I wanted. And of course, Guy helps because
he's in film.
Yeah, he's the guy with brain and like technique stuff.
I can outsource that. Yeah. If I do my wonderful partner Chris.
There you go. It works really well.
Yeah. So you sent one to me, which is gorgeous, and I thought, what's my point of difference? Because I didn't want to. I would have loved to have moved because I love moving, but at the same time I thought, well, everyone's going to be doing their movementy thing. Yeah. And so I just filmed myself writing something, and I just wrote this very, very short melody, which then turned into like this extended track that's on an upcoming album, Music for Dance and Scene, called For Masumi, very simply. And again, that track on that record is very different to any of the other ones because it was specifically for you. It's in this horrifically difficult key, A flat minor, 7 flats. Everything's like very depressed from a grammatical perspective. I don't know why. That's what key the piece was in. But I remember getting the string players to try to play it, and they're like, I don't even know what this key is. Like they were looking like I know in theory that is a C flat, but I don't know where a C flat is on my violin. No one's ever asked me to play one.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
I mean, weirdly, the key is much easier to read if you do it in G sharp minor. This is such boring chat, but
no.
There's only 5 sharps, but that's a very bright key for me in my head. But it needed to be in a very like somber, muted, depressed key. Like just even the spelling of it on paper.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why that was. Do you think the
time it was totally instinctive. Like because I had the choice as a composer. Do I write in the simpler key, or do I write in the slightly more difficult key? But it just felt like that was how I was thinking about it. It didn't make sense for it to be sharp and bright. But the world will hear that soon enough. So I'm really excited to share that track with everyone, and especially the video. Nice, Oh wait, no, there's not a video for Masumi. There needs to be a video.
There needs to be a video.
I keep laying awake at night thinking, having visions of what you might do in a video.
Yeah.
And then thinking, there's no point having this vision because Masumi will do what Masumi will do. There's no controlling. I feel like if I told you I want you to do this, you'd be like, why? And very rightly so.
Right, okay,
because you need to understand,
Yeah.
well, where does that come from? And maybe I could convince you why. But at the same time, I'm almost more interested in just blank canvas.
Yeah.
What would you do? Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So maybe that will be the brief at some point.
Okay. Nice. Okay. That's exciting.
Yes, it is exciting. I'm very excited to keep working with you and keep making work with you.
Yeah.
Keep hanging out with you.
Just hanging out. Yeah, that'd be nice.
You and the boys.
Yes, the boys and you.
And with the Ardens Company. We'll be working on Eurovision.
Yes. I don't know what I'm doing, but
Have you
yes.
signed an NDA?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I have.
Oh
but
gosh, no.
that'll be fun again.
That'd be fun.
Because of course we did last year with On Air Calendar.
Yes. Wow.
So if people want to keep up to date with all of these future projects, which will be amazing, judging by the former projects, where will they be able to find you?
I think best place would be Instagram.
Yeah?
That would be hello_Masumi Saito. Yes.
And is there anything on the horizon that we should be looking out for in terms of new work?
So the departure, the work about the funeral and death, that's touring, but we don't have a London date yet. We're touring in November in other part of UK. But also I'm making a new film work for this art festival in Japan.
Oh yes.
Nakanojo, yeah. This is gonna be about silkworm.
Silkworms?
Silkworm. It's so beautiful and it's so sad. Do you know much about silkworm?
No, embarrassingly little.
So basically, like silkworm industry was big where I'm from. And the festival, the theme was kind of along those lines of like decline industry and all that. And I was looking at silk industry and it's so sad how silkworm's life is so fleeting life. Like they don't get to, like, they don't become, before they become moth, they get boiled and they die. Because that's how you take a silk. Because the silk is come from their cocoon. The worm make a cocoon.
Yeah.
And then we boil it and then kill all the worm, and that's how you make a silk thread.
It's just the cocoon?
Cocoon, yeah. And then also they can't live in nature environment. They're bled to become that. They're just bled to just produce silk. And I find it so sad, but at the same time also like, how are we different to that? We're just a cog of society, the machine. And so we're researching around that, and also researching, comparing like industry where there's factory workers where it's same as a worm, like we're replaceable. Same as dancer, we are replaceable.
Oh my gosh.
We are, and so we're just going deep, like researching all sort of like what that means and where we stand, and then to how we then interpret that with movement and installations. So that's coming in summer.
Wow.
So that's quite different to...
Sounds like quite a departure.
Yeah.
From your work departure.
No, exactly. I really like having a diverse project at the same time, because I appreciate the artists that have a very symbolic style and do one thing, like researching and practicing that. But I'm a lot of person. I don't know. I'm a mom. I like a lot of things, and I'm interested in a lot of things, and so I want to do everything, and I do it sincerely. Like I do that, So yeah, that's why I like my life at the minute.
Yeah, I love your life.
Yeah, I love my life. Yeah, it's quite hectic. Like.
Yeah, I wish I could see you more.
Yeah. Like I do have time. Like I just hectic, as in like, I think that's the thing about being parent, isn't it? Like your time is not just your time.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's a mental space, and like drop kids off, and then you have this small window of time where you need to fit everything in, as well as, I don't know, thinking about dinner, or like book a holiday camp for kids to go during Easter holiday, and
Gosh.
like it's something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I feel even more grateful that you've taken time out of your
but
busy life.
No, this is nice. Yeah.
Can I ask you one final question?
Yes.
Deep down,
Yes.
what's the point?
Deep down, what's the point?
You can interpret that how you
Deep down, what's the point if you can't enjoy yourself? Deep down, what's the point if your very close person is not happy and healthy? Like, really, all I care about nowadays is as long as my family's got health and happy, I don't need anything else. And if I can hang out with my friends, and that's all I need. I don't need anything else. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and review this podcast. And if you like it, share it with your friends or on social media. You can find me on social platforms at Deep Down with Jordan Hunt and at Jordan Hunt Music. Deep Down uses bits of my music from my song Ocean Floor, and you can listen to my music on all streaming services. I'd love to hear from you via DM or via my website, jordan-hunt.com, if any of these experiences resonated with you, and there you can sign up to the mailing list for announcements and updates. Thank you so much for listening.